the research that led to the announcement last week. First of all, what is this new medication? And I would assume that the association has been working on this for quite a while.
Yeah, this drug is actually part of a new class of drugs that are actually targeting underlying um, disease components. So, this is a really exciting time in Alzheimer's and dementia research, and lecanemab is the name of the drug, and this was tested in individuals living with mild cognitive impairment. Sometimes that's called MCI, which is really the stage before early stage of actual Alzheimer's disease. So again, the drug was tested in individuals living with MCI due to Alzheimer's disease and mild Alzheimer's dementia. And along with, some others that are in phase 2 and phase 3 in this new class of drugs. And so MCI due to Alzheimer's disease is usually the earliest diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease prior to Alzheimer's dementia. More effective treatments that slow clinical decline have the potential to give individuals and their families more time. So we don't know, that drugs like this in this class are necessarily going to be a silver bullet, right? But what we do know is that we're, according to what it's looking like in terms of early results, that this could definitely give individuals and families more time because it's actually slowing that clinical decline in terms of the results that have been published so far.
It's not a cure, but as you mentioned, it is a way to prolong further stages of Alzheimer's or dementia.
Right. So, these are the most encouraging results in clinical trials treating, like we talked about, that underlying cause. So, it's got the potential from that early data to change the course of the disease in a clinically meaningful way. So, in other words, what we're saying is the results indicate lecanemab may give people more time or near their full abilities to participate in daily life, remain independent, and make future healthcare decisions. And as that can be the real difference in quality of life.
Giving someone who has this and taking this more time, does this offer or lend itself to maybe coming up with what's the path now to that this leads you to possibly a cure for this?
The news is really indicative of an increasingly robust treatment landscape for Alzheimer's disease. The progress we've seen not only in this class of treatments, but also in the diversification of targets over the past few years, is just really exciting. There's more diversity in the space, and it really provides hope to those impacted. This is such a devastating diagnosis to receive. So, it's actually an exciting time in research just because of the sheer diversity in the landscape of the different things that are being tested, especially in this new class of drugs that are actually, it's the first time we're seeing that really targeting underlying, disease. So component. So, I think we're in a new space is what we're hearing, from the scientific community.
It's almost as if you're crossing over one bridge to prolong or to give more time to someone who has been diagnosed. It seems like it's the next step toward you're getting closer to maybe even a cure now that we've gotten to this point.
Right. It's not the time to stop or slow down. these are considered anti-amyloid approaches. And, like we talked about, it's not a silver bullet, but they're the first wave of effective treatments. And we know that there are going to continue to be others in the same class, but maybe in other areas. So we really want to redouble efforts to discover new targets and test new treatments. The Alzheimer's Association is really committed to advancing all potential treatment avenues and exploring methods for combining diverse approaches into combination therapies.
We have these walks to end Alzheimer's, and every year we have these walks. We always say that the money goes to research, and people will look at that and say, yeah, research. This is exactly why we have these walks every year.
Absolutely. It's so important to take care of the individuals and families in our communities with resources, right? Education and our helpline that can help people navigate this disease. But we want to make sure that we really are pushing forward to realize a vision for the Alzheimer's Association, which is a world without Alzheimer's and dementia. We don't always want to just offer care and be okay with that. We want to find an end to this. And so, the Alzheimer's Association, many people don't realize it, but we're actually the largest nonprofit funder of Alzheimer's and dementia research. So we are taking that to heart. And so the funds that we raise through our Walk to End Alzheimer's across the country, there's over 600 walks across the US, we are investing those dollars back towards our goal of really finding a cure.
So when you hear someone say that this money is going to research, it really does go to research.
Yeah, we're committed to that. We know that that is the way that we change the trajectory of the disease. And so that's where we're keeping our eyes. We will never not be taking care of families and individuals. So that's also a focus, and those resources from, the revenue we generate from Walk is also providing support for those valuable resources. But the research and the evolution of what's happening in that space is really paramount.
How excited? I mean, how big is this news?
It's big. It's big. I think last year when we saw the first drug in this new class, aducanumab, come out, it was the first time in about 10 years that there was a treatment for Alzheimer's and/or dementia that was in a new class, right? So it was showing us that there was something new. And it was the first time we were ever seeing, like we talked about, targeting, that underlying disease part of it. And so, I think it's so energizing. I mean, it tells us obviously that the funds and the priority we're giving for Alzheimer's research, that's accomplishing something, and it's moving us forward. And like we talked about, now's not the time to slow down. We definitely want to be aggressive. We want to move quickly because time is so precious. And so, we want to advocate for families to have more time. And so the Alzheimer's Association will do that, as long as studies and research and drugs are being approved. If they look like, there's hope for our families, then we want to advocate for that.
All right, Kristen, thank you so much. Appreciate you joining us.